and giving me opportunity to present earlier invited talk, but later shifted as a keynote address. And certainly a little bit difficult for me to justify, because keynote address in fact is usually address which cover the entire theme of the conference. So anyhow, I would like to congratulate Principal Sir, entire faculty, and all team of this organizing for organizing such big event within 2 months. In the beginning of January, there was also another big international conference. So my heartiest congratulations to this institute so as to organize a big academic event. So as the theme of this international conference, the multidisciplinary innovation in green energy, disaster resilience in a data-driven quantum era. My talk is little bit technical, focused on the energy, but I would like to mention here that Himachal Pradesh University last year established the Himalayan Center for the Disaster Risk Reduction and Resilience, keeping in consideration that disaster is very critical in Himachal Pradesh, particularly in the 4 districts. And LP University came up with some objective with the discussion with the government of Himachal Pradesh. Honorable CM also took a very keen initiative to start this center. And I am, as a director of this IMTR3, came to know during last more than 11 months how critical this particular center is in terms of, as Gautamji already told, that development must be carried on in a scientific manner. This is the critical issue to control the disaster management, or you can say landslide, cloudburst in our state. So anyway, without going much in this setting subject, and quantum data is a very critical issue, as all of us know, as we are shifting from the usual computer data towards the quantum computing, which is of huge capability of storing the data. So my little bit, I think, some extent this talk will be useful for young student, because most of the focus is on the research purpose, center on this topic, energy. And topic of my talk is lead-free relaxer ferroelectric ceramics for high energy storage devices, as well as electrocaloric effect, where I would like to discuss on ferroelectric material as such, with special focus on lead-free ferroelectric materials, and further focusing on the application parts which depends upon the electrocaloric effect and energy storage properties. And we will see what is the role of the relaxer ferroelectric, because you see that ferroelectric is a very simple kind of a material. Those who are sound science students, all of us came to know about the ferroelectric material in terms of hysteresis loop, the polarization versus the electric field, similar to that of the magnetic hysteresis loop, magnetization versus polarization at the level of +2 standard. So this is a very well-known, hysteresis loop is a very well-known property of ferroelectric material, and we will try to see how relaxer ferroelectrics is important, focusing on electrocaloric effect and energy storage performance, and Then I will show some of the result based on the research carried out by our research student in Department of Physics at the university. And I will then finally discuss with few concluding remarks this novel approach of designing high entropy material, particularly for energy storage application. So this ferroelectric material, known among the scientific community, I think more than 400 years, but most of the research focused during the 60s, 50s. Its unique property is its internal polarization, which can be tuned or changed by applying the electric field, and polarization can be tuned by temperature as well as pressure, resulting in this piezoelectric and pyroelectric properties. So because of this wide range of properties, that's the ferroelectric itself, piezoelectric, pyroelectric, such materials are having a wide range of application, like in memory in the computer, that is DRAM, dynamic random access memory, which is volatile memory, which is required for enhancing RAM of the computers. And then this non-volatile ferroelectric random access memory is a permanent memory, because once the power is off, even then we can store the data. So whatever we store in our mobile or computer is oriented around this non-volatile ferroelectric random memory, exploiting piezoelectric and pyroelectric properties, wide range of applications, sensor, actuators. One example is how this printer of the computer works. Is basic principle there is the role of the actuator and sensors. Means micro electromechanical system, again wide range of application in diagnosis purpose in medical field, and several sensors. Surface acoustic wave to design various electronic devices in the communication sector, like sonar, radar system, and optical devices. And then because ferroelectric materials are important to design the memory, similarly ferromagnetic material important to design the magnetic memory. Both have some merit and demerits. Just by combining these two, another big field which we call the multiferric material, where we can realize multi-state memories. Coupling between ferroelectric and ferromagnetic leads to magnetoelectric random access memory. This one, and new kind of magnetically tuned sensor, because all of us know that electronics is basically the transportation of an electron and is transported by applying the voltage. Now the new concept is it possible to transport the spin just by applying the magnetic field? Because spin cannot be scattered by kind of a defect or impurity. Therefore, this spintronic piece, electronics, has edge over whatever the electronic devices today we have. So, because and now the two new properties which appear during last more than 1 decade is this electrokinetic cooling device and energy storage properties. Because of this wide range of, you can say, application or wide range of properties, more than 6 decades research on ferroelectric focus on development of this particular lead material, which I have listed here. These are the lead-based material. But recently, it has been found that lead-based substances are toxic and are not environmentally friendly. And therefore, all of the research on the ferroelectric shifted towards development of lead-free materials, because lead is toxic in nature. So, I have just listed here only 4 categories of lead-free material, which are very important from the ferroelectric, pyroelectric and piezoelectric properties point of view. And this polyvinylidene chloride is a very important organic ferroelectric, and organic ferroelectrics are light in weight, and these such kind of materials are very promising, particularly for satellite purpose, to have memory storage here. And this whole, if you see here, lead titanate, this ABO3 kind of a thing, again variant title ABO3, all of these are ABO3 type, which we call the perovskite structure material. And this perovskite structure material, there are three basic structure formation. The first one, if there is no distortion in the unit cell, we call the cubic. If there is distortion in the C-axis, as a result of which center of positive charge does not coincide with the center of positive charge, resulting in the dipole moment. And similarly, if there is a stretch, which I have not shown here, along the unit cell diagonal, phase diagonal, that we call orthorhombic. And if there is distortion along the body diagonal, we call rhombohedral. So meaning there are last two unit cell structure, that is tetragonal, orthorhombic, rhombohedral, are of having certain dipole moment. And these dipole moments are very critical to decide ferroelectric, piezoelectric and pyroelectric properties. So such structural transformation can be obtained either by applying the pressure, or by tuning the temperature, or by making substitution in the ABO3 and varying the concentration of the element. One can go from cubic to tetragonal to rhombohedral to orthorhombic in this structure. And another most important aspect regarding these materials is morphotopic phase boundary, which I have mentioned here, or a polymorphic phase boundary, meaning that if we have a system having two or more those phases, which I discussed in the previous slide, in a single material, then we call morphotopic phase boundary structure or polymorphic phase boundary structure. Uniqueness of such structure is that in a system having this type of phase boundary, polarization instability is large. That is, polarization energy is shared by all those four crystal structure. So on applying the electric field, on varying the temperature, on varying the concentration, one can easily tune the polarization value so as to have enhanced polarization value. So I have listed here 1, 2, 3 from these references. All these are A and B side modified barium titanate, and these composition are morphotopic phase boundary composition, having the piezoelectric coefficient 620 picocoulomb per Newton, which is comparable with that of the lead zirconate titrate, and similar situation with both two other two composition. So piezoelectric property is very, very crucial when we talk about designing sensor actuator kind of thing. So achieving morphotopic phase boundary and polymorphic phase boundary is very critical so as to enhance the polarization, enhance the ferroelectric property, piezoelectric property and pyroelectric property. But here my interest is on this electrocaloric effect, and then second, of course, the energy storage device. This electrocaloric effect we just elaborated that on applying the electric field, polarization changes is the characteristic of the ferroelectric material. But while changing the polarization, what happens inside the material, temperature also changes. So changing of the temperature, or you can say changing the polarization induced by applied electric field under adiabatic condition leads to electrocaloric effect in that particular material. So adiabatic temperature change or isothermal entropy change is the measurement of electrocaloric cooling devices. So if you see the conventional refrigerator system in the present gadget, it works on the principle of compression and expansion of refrigerant fluid. The refrigerant fluids are chlorofluorohydrocarbons, which are very hazardous to the environment because they have very high potential to destroy the ozone layer. So one must look for alternative technology for refrigeration system where this electrocaloric effect of existing refrigerant system. This electrocaloric effect substances, they can be miniaturized so that cooling that chip, one can have a small kind of refrigerated system. Presently, if you try to see that computer, we have kind of a big fan for cooling the integrated circuit and all of the component there. But today we are talking about quantum computer or advanced computer, where there will be billions of devices on the single chip, and this type of a cooling by fans may not be feasible, may not be efficient, and therefore advantage of electrocaloric effect based material is, one is environmental friendly, and second is we can miniaturize the refrigeration system so that computer chip or high-end chip can be cooled effectively. Here is one example, the very high delta T isoadiabatic temperature change observed in 2006 for lead zirconium titanium film, but this material is lead based, which is environmentally not good, and therefore research is focused on developing lead free system with high temperature change or applying the electric field. So how we calculate this electrocaloric effect using Maxwell relation, and after doing some analysis, these two are the formula used to calculate isothermal entropy change and adiabatic temperature change, where rho is the density of the material and Cp is the specific heat at constant pressure, and one can measure the polarization where hysteresis is low at different temperature and calculate both these factors effectively using these two formula. And then it is not delta T, rather efficiency of cooling is defined as the ratio of delta T and applied electric field. So if some material is having significant change in the temperature under low applied electric field, then that material will show the high efficiency of cooling. And morphotopic phase boundary is again very helpful to get the high polarization value, and temperature dependent polarization is huge at the Curie temperature. So if we bring down the Curie temperature near the room temperature along with morphotopic phase boundary formation in the material, that material will be very helpful for enhancing electrocaloric effect. So now come to the topic, this relaxer ferroelectric. The relaxer ferroelectric differ from the normal ferroelectric because of existence of nanopolar region. Because normal ferroelectric, one can see here the bigger domain size in micrometer size, but relaxer ferroelectric, there will be smaller domain size in the nano region, which helps to increase the temperature stability of the polarization. This is one factor that the relaxer ferroelectric is very promising to enhance the electrocaloric effect. Not only electrocaloric effect, we will see shortly, the energy storage also comes better from relaxer ferroelectric. And last one, which is morphotopic phase boundary, where there exists rhombohedral, tetragonal, orthorhombic kind of domains within the material, again very useful to enhance the polarization value. So barium titanate has very high Curie temperature, around 130 degrees centigrade, So first objective is to bring down the Curie temperature near the room temperature, because there the sensitivity of polarization on the temperature is large. So one can have high electrocaloric effect near the room temperature. And secondly, this barium titrate can be made having morphotopic phase boundary just by making substitution on the A and B side. So objective is to create the morphotopic phase boundary, and second is to bring the Curie temperature near the room temperature to enhance the electrocaloric effect. So this one again an illustration in the diagrammatical form, so as to have convincing interpretation of what I have said. So if you see the top, this left hand side, this is ideal ferroelectric having sharp peaks near the DC, resulting in very severe hysteresis loop, and is very promising for memory devices. But for electrocaloric effect and energy storage, we require a kind of a broader peak, so as to have the temperature stability of the electrocaloric effect, along with sleep hysteresis. Again, this is useful for getting high energy storage performance as well as high electrocaloric effect. So, although this paraelectric is of not significance, because here there is no permanent dipole movement. So, if you come to here, our next topic, that is energy storage. Energy is today a very central subject worldwide, because if you just try to see the data, how much power the whole world is consuming today, it is 20 terawatt, and 80% source of this power is from fossil fuel, that is coal, oil and gas. And all of us know that these fossil fuel are fastly depleting, and by the end of 2050, there will be only 30% contribution from the fossil fuel. Therefore, future generation have to look for alternative sources of energy. And alternative source of energy means, if you talk about nuclear energy, hydroelectric energy, biomass, their contribution is below 2% at present. But most efficient source is solar energy. Our Earth's surface receives about 120,000 terawatt radiation per annum, and total power consumption is 20 terawatt. Huge radiation Earth surface receive 120,000 terawatt, but their main hurdle is efficiency. Efficiency of solar cell is below 30%. That's why we used to see anywhere. Say for example, the airport at Kotan, fully operated by solar energy. But if you look there from the top floor, the range up to which we can see is fully occupied by the solar panel because of low efficiency. So when we talk about energy, two important components is there. One is source, which ultimate is the solar energy, but the second is storage. When we talk about the LPG, the cylinder is storage. When we talk about the diesel or petrol kind of thing, tank is storage. When we talk about the hybrid electric vehicle, then lithium ion battery is there as a storing device. And when we talk about this mobile phone, again lithium ion battery. So meaning thereby efficient storage require efficient electrical energy storage system, which depends upon the two important parameters. One is power density, another is energy density. Energy density is basically how much energy can store the particular volume or a mass of material. And when we talk about the power density, how much fastly energy can be supplied to the gadget or a device, how much fastly energy can receive that particular material is called as power density. So power density and energy density are the two important factors when we discuss about efficient energy storage system. So presently there are four energy storage technology which are competing with each other based upon their merits and demerits in terms of power density and energy density. So which we can see here in this Ragun plot, where we have four technologies: solid oxide fuel cell, batteries, supercapacitor or electrochemical capacitor, and this one dielectric capacitor, that is the ferroelectric capacitor in that. And these batteries which already in use, lithium-ion battery, it requires your gadget, that mobile phone requires at least 1 hour to get fully charged, slow charging. And if you talk about the hybrid electric vehicle, it takes nearly 3 to 4 hours for fully charging of that lithium-ion battery. And that particular stored energy will cover not more than 400 kilometers. So slow discharge, slow charging is the critical limitation in case of solid oxide fuel cell and batteries. Electrochemical, the moderate power and energy density, but this dielectric capacitor, huge power density but low energy storage density. Let's look at in another comparative chart so as to reach at some conclusion before going into the actual topic of this dielectric capacitor. If you just try to see here, this is solid oxide fuel. It has merits and demerits. High power density exists, high energy density exists in all the three technologies. But operating voltage is low, 5 volt. Operating voltage is almost 3 volt here. Less than 3 volt in this case. And at the same time, charging time is very huge. Several hours, several seconds. So meaning thereby, if you think about high power system, these three technology cannot fulfill our requirement. Because for high power system, we require a kind of a system which can operate at high voltage, which can operate at high frequency. So if you look at here the dielectric capacitor, only demerit here is low energy density. It can operate at much higher temperature, 230 degree, 250 degree centigrade. It can operate at several kilo voltage. It can operate at several kilohertz of the frequency. So the last one is very promising material. When we think about energy storage system, not only for hybrid electric vehicle, rather is it possible to run the train by kind of a energy storage? Is it possible to operate the aeroplane, satellite, heavy, you can say, army machines with the help of some storage system? The last one is that particular substance or a material. So, conclusion here, I just want to make in a very simple interpretation. As we have seen in 90s, while we saw transition from analog signal to the digital signal, great revolution took place with the arrival of digital electronics, and this mobile is the product of that digital electronics. Similarly, whatever lithium-ion battery we are using here, it is the analog power system. And when we talk about the dielectric capacitor, that is advanced pulse power technology because of the high frequency operation, high voltage operation. So this particular is the unique feature. Only if you enhance the energy storage density, which is the merit or weakness of this particular dielectric capacitor. So only idea is to increase the energy storage density in case of the dielectric capacitor. So whole of the world research on the ferroelectric focus on developing dielectric capacitor having high energy storage density device. I have put here in a very simple manner a simple diagram for hybrid electric vehicle where this one is that lithium-ion battery. Charging is slow. Hybrid bus electric vehicle, it takes 3 to 4 hours for charging. But discharging is again slow. But there is a kind of a capacitor, this CE, which resolve the slow rate of discharging there. And of course, this CES is a capacitor used to avoid the loss kind of a thing. And this is the inverter so as to convert the DC into AC. And this CR and CF are the capacitor which remove the unwanted frequency or unwanted harmonic. And finally, DC converted to AC, and they then operate this electric motor so as to rotate the wheels of the mechanical system. So our Honorable Vice Chancellor research is focused on developing this particular electric motor, especially for hybrid vehicles, because there the material used is the rare earth material, and 80% rare earth material supply chain is from China. Monopoly is there, and the huge expenditure involved there in excavating and then processing that rare earth material. So, in future, if you want to replace all of the vehicle by hybrid electric vehicles, then there will be a lot of technology involvement. It requires a lot of research so as to reach a final reliable final product with the addressing reliable issues. And if you just try to see here this particular capacitor in the present electric vehicle, that particular model of Toyota, the hybrid electric vehicle, this one, Pyrus HEV, this dielectric in that particular next to the battery capacitor operates efficiently only at the 90 degrees centigrade, but whole of the power system during operation reaches to the temperature 140 degrees centigrade. Therefore, additional cooling system is attached there, which absorbs 65 degrees centigrade as its operational temperature, making all of the power system very complex. And BOP, this polymer, this biaxially oriented polypropylene, is of energy density around 7 joule per centimeter cube. So, this additional capacitor not only make the power system complex, rise in the temperature, and very bulky. So, therefore, the main focus is to search for alternative material so that it can operate at high temperature. As I have already said, that the ferroelectric material can operate up to 250 degrees centigrade efficiently. But main problem is with that energy storage density. Second aspect, that is the pulse power technology, means that efficient solar panel, so that energy is straightway converted into electrical energy with the help of this CE capacitor having ferroelectric as dielectric, because it can handle the high power system. So that is the meaning of advanced pulse power technology. If in future some efficient solar panel will come out. So two aspects are there. One is to use directly source here. Another is to replace BOPP kind of a thing, so that they can operate at much higher temperature and much efficiently. But again, requirement is energy density must be higher than or about 7 joule per centimeter cube. So which is basically the limitation in ferroelectric material. So anyway, how we calculate this? So this is the just comparison between various kind of a dielectric. Linear dielectric, low voltage operation, high hysteresis here. Ferroelectric, we have seen very scarce kind of hysteresis loop, and is not useful for enhancing the energy storage density. And the last one, which is relaxer ferroelectric, where we have a polar narrow region, is promising to enhance the energy storage density. Because of the fact, if you try to see here how we evaluate energy storage density, so this is for recoverable energy, total energy. This is for recoverable energy, which we can calculate just by measuring the PE loop at different temperature and of course the difference between this is loss efficiency calculated by this formula, but you can understand very well in the next slide this one. So this is the case of linear dielectric. This is that hysteresis loop. So this one is charging, and because of hysteresis discharging, there is some loss which I have shown here, the light pink color, which is the loss energy. The recoverable energy is the peculiar thing which we require to enhance, and that should come at least around the 7 Joule so as to replace the BOPT, and even in the future advanced bulk power technology. So one can calculate that recoverable energy and that of the loss energy, total energy, just by area under this curve, area under the second curve. So subtraction from the first area and the second area give you the area under that light pink color. So which is the loss energy density, and so one can calculate all of these parameters. So that is that you can say elaborated way so as to understand how we calculate the area under this curve. So let's talk about some results which we observe in our laboratory in the LP University. So normally we prepare relaxer ferroelectric by in the composite form, thin film form, and also in the bulk form using Sol-Gel technique, solid oxide reaction technique, and then characterized by these several techniques, XRD, Raman, LSM for structure analysis. Of course, dielectric we have seen there, the left, right top, and the middle dielectric property, very crucial to understand the relaxers, the behavior, and of course, the PE at different temperature provide us electrocaloric effect as well as energy storage performance. And I just want to show quickly some results, but before that, we have all these instruments available in the Himachal Pradesh University, where this one is ferroelectric tester for thin film. Recently, 2 weeks back, we have installed with the help of ANR here. This particular instrument can measure piezoelectric, pyroelectric, and ferroelectric properties, and efficiently. This is VSM for magnetic property measurement, impedance measurement, spin coating for thin film analysis, and this source meter to measure the leakage trend of the material. So anyway, we selected this hafnium substitute barium criteria because hafnium substitute can bring the UV temperature from 130 degree close to the room temperature, so as to have significant change in the temperature electrocaloric effect near the room temperature. So the sintering temperature is again crucial because sintering temperature affect the microstructure, and microstructure affect the kind of a relaxer ferroelectric formation, and finally to the prime property, that is electrocaloric effect and the energy storage property. So one can see here lot of structure data, microstructure, Raman. We have to confirm that whether the materials have achieved the particular required structure or not. We confirm by this kind of a microstructure, but I want to show, because there may be constant of time, the final result, that is dielectric property, where one can see these two are diffuse phase transition, and this one is ideal kind of a thing. Diffuse phase transition is the signature of relaxer ferroelectric, where it has polar main origin so as to enhance the electrocaloric effect and energy storage performance. So then after doing lot of calculations, these are the temperature dependent hysteresis loop, from which we have to calculate the dV by dt, because we have seen there are two formulas, one for electrocaloric effect delta T, another for isothermal entropy change, where there is involvement of dP by dt. dP by dt can be calculated from this particular polarization versus temperature, and then here that particular dP by dt, and finally electrocaloric change in the temperature, change in the entropy, and then this one is the recoverable energy density and efficiency and total energy. So very important thing to note here is that opposite variation, contrast variation, that is recoverable energy decreases, efficiency increases. Reverse nature, efficiency reduces but energy storage increases. Energy density increases, then efficiency decreases. So there is the, I think, still unresolved problem in this ferroelectric research, particularly for energy storage purpose. And if you see more result here, next we took that morphotopic phase boundary. Again, almost of the similar result we observe here with little bit enhancement in the delta T, that is the adiabatic temperature change, and slight improvement in the energy storage density. And here again, we observe a similar kind of a reverse characteristic, that higher efficiency can be achieved at the cost of low energy density. So I want to show one more result, that is steam dot, so as to realize the thing what we have discussed till now. So this one, that is steam substitute on the titanium side, again a morphotopic phase boundary, where one can see that morphotopic phase boundary in clear way in the dielectric property. If you try to see these two dielectric properties, one centered at 1100 degrees, another is 1200 degrees centigrade. No significant change, diffuse phase transition. If you go slightly higher filtering temperature, processing temperature, instead of 1200 degrees centigrade, 1300 and 14 and 1500 degrees centigrade, one can realize here in this last two temperatures, slight anomaly is here, and large anomaly at this particular one. So first anomaly is corresponding to rhombohedral to the orthorhombic. This anomaly or this anomaly. Second anomaly is corresponding to orthorhombic to tetragonal, and third is tetragonal to the cubic, that is the Curie temperature. And all the cases are close to the room temperature. Simply means morphotopic phase boundary is very useful in enhance the polarization. And one can see here very high dielectric constant, 8000 range in these two cases, and below the 3000 in the first case, because of existence of morphotopic phase boundary. And these are for evaluation of energy storage similar to the earlier, but I want to show important result in this particular slide. If you take this 1100 and 1200 degrees centigrade, again same thing remains, that is high efficiency, low total energy density, low recoverable energy density. But when you create that morphotopic phase boundary, try to see that both the things are slightly improved. So this one, this efficiency, which is blue color, efficiency increasing, recoverable energy increasing, total energy also increasing. So these results are slightly different as compared to the two set of samples earlier. Reason being, it is possible to enhance the energy storage density and efficiency simultaneously if you do the material designing in proper manner, and at the same time you can see 170 around 160 millijoule, meaning thereby 0.16 joule. Target there is 7 joule. Much below whatever the projected there to replace the DOBT. So lot of research is going on enhancing the energy storage density of these ferroelectric materials through creating relaxer ferroelectric. So just 2 minutes, I just want to make comment on rather concluding remark on designing the novel high entropy material, because of the fact that several efforts carried out worldwide could not succeed getting enhanced energy density. So now new approach is it possible to design a new kind of a material which we call high entropy material. High entropy material means it is the story just below the paralytic. I will show in the next slide. So high entropy is defined by this kind of formula, where R is the ideal gas constant, Xi, Xj are the molar concentration of element at the cation and anion side, or A or B side. So when this entropy is greater than this one, 1.5 R, we call that high entropy material. If less than 1 R, then low entropy material, and in between 1 and 1 R, then medium entropy material. Why these materials are important? Because entropy is the crucial factor, so as to have the enhanced energy storage density. So this is low entropy, this one is medium entropy, and last one is high entropy. What is the basic difference? Conventional way of doping depends upon the how much element is soluble in that particular material. So this high entropy design is modification at the atomic level, meaning thereby if you will get the high value of entropy if we choose more number of element of different atomic radii to be substituted that mother atom, resulting in we have a very divergent, highly polarized concentrated dipole class. So meaning thereby this is the story beyond relaxer ferroelectric, which we can see here by this beautiful picture. Already I have discussed these one: ideal ferroelectric, ferroelectric, relaxer ferroelectric, super paraelectric relaxer ferroelectric. What happened that here in the paraelectric state the polarization is low. There is no question of